Hey everybody, Scott Jansen. Welcome back with another 100K coaching program student interview. Today, we have the amazing Siam Lee all the way from Bali to talk about his business. Siam, as he'll tell you, is in RTT, is also a hypnotherapist as well. And Siam's been in my program, I would say probably a bit under a year, maybe a year
Yeah,
or so, something like that.
not even a year now.
Not even a year, and he's taken
Almost.
off. He's
Yeah.
in a very cool niche, which we're going to dive into. So we're going to get a background on Siam's story, where he started, what business is like, what he's doing. He's doing some incredible things. Also talk about Bali as well, which is awesome. He's just moved there with the business as well. So Siam, thank you so much, man, for joining us. I know you're super busy and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. My pleasure to be here with you. And for me, it was normal because, like the program bring me so much that I felt, like I was, writing the message. I felt, I think that's the time to share the story.
Yeah.
And because I know how it can be, painful when you start your business. So I think it's good to share my story.
Absolutely. Well, look, let's start where everybody starts. Let's go all the way back to when you got into RTT and therapy. Like, how did that all start for you? Why did you get involved in that?
Yeah, I was always doing like hypnotherapy since many years somehow, but I was traveling a lot. I was living in India at this time, and I feel like, okay, something we're missing, to really give results. And I was already, trying to find like the best mentor, the best way actually to bring results. It was also like a personal healing journey 10 years before. So I was like looking out really with the best way like to give result to people. So when I saw RTT basically with Mary Sapir, I felt like, I don't know, like I feel could be like a good good mentor for me. So I dive into the program and give me a lot of results. But then after came the next step is like, how do you market your business? So you have like the knowledge, how to bring results to people. That's awesome. But you feel you are hitting a wall because it's like, now how, people are going to reach me, how I'm going to basically sell my session, and how can I bring more result to people?
Yeah. So when you got into RTT and therapy, that was for your own healing and stuff like that, yeah?
No, I mean, I already did a lot of healing, but I feel like now I need to master how I can, bring that into a session.
Right.
Because it was my healing journey was like, I would say, a mess. Like it was here and there trying so many different things.
Yeah.
And I understand that, okay, most of the, I would say like therapist or healer, they just like have like, I would say 10 or 20% of what can bring you results, So it's like you have to go here and there, try many different things. And I felt like, how can I bring like basically all my knowledge into a session? And I feel like with RTT, that's a little bit like the thing that I found, like kind of having like a session where I can bring result. And then of course I put my stuff, also my experience, my other thing that I was experiencing before.
Yeah. So when you studied, this is always a cool thing to think about. Like, what was the biggest aha moment for you? What did you get out of the training?
Like, you mean in the RTT?
Yeah. Like, what was the biggest thing that you learned?
I would say, yeah, when I saw like basically that in a session, like in one session, you can really like bring the people, to have like this insight, about, okay, what's going on in the past, and know that on a conscious level, but it's really conscious level. So for me, it's the understanding of the subconscious level, but to have like some science behind that, and really to have a process. It's about like, releasing the pain, understanding the pain, and then reframing also, what's going on in your subconscious brain. So the aha moment, it wasn't like one aha moment. It's more like the whole thing, that bring me like, oh, finally I understand that it doesn't bring you, I mean, it doesn't need 10 years to heal, that's really the thing that make me understand, wow, you can give result in few months with people.
Yeah, that's very cool. So you got qualified, and then obviously it was time to think about the business. Did you start getting clients straight away? Did you do any marketing straight away, or what was the next step for you?
So yeah, I mean, right away, I mean, I had client before, so somehow, I was already into the business, but I was like all the other therapists, charging for $100, $150. So I felt like to really live out of my passion and what I really like, it was still like not okay, you know, not enough. And I felt like I deserve more, you know, because I bring so much like energy and bring so much, you know, like to the people, that I felt somehow I need also, you know, to fulfill myself, to have like a decent life. So after the RTT certificate, there is like a small program about marketing, but somehow I felt like, again, that's not exactly what I need, you know, something is missing. So I was trying a bunch of different stuff. I tried like some Facebook ad, you know, also I had a coach trying Facebook ad, not really like successful, you know, didn't attract, like I would say, the right type of client.
Right.
So I felt like something is missing, you know.
Yeah. So when you were doing the ads, were you, or just marketing in general, did you have a niche, or were you just sort of trying to attract anybody?
No, that's the thing. Like at this moment, I didn't understand the importance having a niche. And you know, when people were talking about niche, I was like, I think, you know, the common mistake is like, yeah, but if I niche, then all the things that I know, you know,
Yeah.
I know I can make people stop smoking, stop the addiction. I can help them for PTSD. So you feel as a therapist,
Yeah. What if I
a
miss
little
out
bit.
on everybody?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I think that's the hardest part, that you understand that you will still do this thing actually, because I still have people that comes to me for different things. So I'm still practicing with that. So it's okay.
Yeah.
But the fear of losing all that at the beginning, I think that's the biggest mistake that we do.
Yeah. So how long were you trying it for yourself? Yeah, without like before you jumped into my program, like how far were you going into it?
I would say like after 6 months, I start really to understand that no, there's really something that I don't know, something, you know, were burning inside me. I was like, no, I know I can do better. There's something now I need to go to the next level. And marketing, I understand that I don't know nothing about marketing, you know.
Yeah.
I just have some random idea, and you just see basically Marisa Peer or Tony Robbins doing this kind of ads. So you think it works like that, but you feel like, I don't know how to deal that, you know. So,
Yeah. How do I do that? Yeah.
exactly. How does it work exactly? What is the mindset behind that, or what is the strategy behind that? You have no idea, you know.
Yeah. So were you doing like YouTube or Instagram or anything like that? Or was it just a bit of ads and a bit of random stuff?
I've started like a YouTube channel, but again, I didn't have a niche. So I was more talking about, you know, the subconscious, like the hypnosis, talking generally, you know, not about something specific.
Yeah. And then obviously you jumped into the program. We actually did a strategy call, which was awesome. And it gave me some good details about you. What were you hoping to get from the strategy call?
To be honest, like I had like a couple of colleagues from RTT that basically were into your program, and I think that's what also drew me in your program, because at the beginning where they were talking about you, I was like, that's interesting what he's saying. But to be honest, I was saying in an interview, I was skeptical at the beginning, because you were the only one talking about like, you don't need any ad, you don't need any all like the webinar, all this fancy stuff, when all the other coaches were talking about that. So I was like somehow trigger, and I wanted to know more about it, but skeptical, to be completely transparent, you know. I really want to be transparent. But when I saw that it was working for some of my colleagues, I was like, I know them. I was with them, you know, in the RTT room with Marisa Peer. So if it works for them, they have the same knowledge than me, basically. I know I can do it, you know. And it started to trigger my mind to say, I know if I go with this guy, for sure, I will have like the solution. So I was already convinced, because I was watching some of your video, and it makes sense. I like the way you were very straightforward, to no fluff, you know, like so many coach, for me, it's like fluff, you know, making fancy stuff. I'm not even sure that they have a result, to be honest. I don't know. And what I like with you, I understand that you were also a therapist. So it kind of like, you know, trigger me, and I like, I think that it's interesting.
Yeah, it's always backwards. Obviously, you're in the program now, and you know why we market that way, because it'd be like you, if you did the same thing as every other therapist and coach, regardless of the niche, you'd be sort of stuck like everybody else. So
Yeah.
And most people come into this and they say like they're expecting the webinars, they're expecting the ads, and you're an aggregate for that. It doesn't logically, ads and funnels and websites, that makes sense, but in the real world, it's just a lot of time wasting stuff. And like you're finding out now, it's not necessary. It's just wasting a lot of time.
Yeah, I think maybe it's like for another level, when once, like
Of
you
course.
say, like Maris appear, and for sure it makes sense. But what I understood is like there's different level of marketing,
Yeah.
So when you start your business, you're not using the same marketing than when you're more famous or where you have more experience. So it's completely different, and that's what I think most of people fail. Because they try some strategy that works maybe for people that has like, I don't know, like a 6-7 figure business, and is not the same way of thinking.
Yeah. When you first start out, you have to just do the basics. Like if you don't have a niche, a basic following of people, basic understanding of marketing, you're not going to know what's put in the webinar, the websites, the ads.
Exactly.
And it's just a guess. And all like you're doing, like you said before, is you're just spending money on things that just bomb straight away. You don't want money going out of the business. We need cash flow into the business.
Exactly.
So you jumped into the program. Obviously, the first thing we get into is the niche. And this is definitely what I want to talk to you about now. What was the journey for you trying to find your niche like, and what was the niche that you landed on?
Yeah, to be honest, before I was already starting to understand this process of niche. So I was trying different stuff that didn't really work because I wasn't clear. I didn't get clarity. And to be honest, I was like, I remember you said, just pick a niche. And I was just like, basically, okay, I'm not going to think too much. I'm just like watching what people really need, and I understand this big thing. I was all the time like seeing this thing with a toxic relationship, people struggling with that. And I've been through that, to be honest, like, 5 years before. So I kind of knew what it was, but I didn't take it because it was my story, to be honest. And at the beginning, I didn't want to take it because, it was part of my story. So I was a little bit reluctant to do it. But then I just unplug the brand, unplug the emotion. I say, let's just do it as a person. I would say like as a therapist, to bring result to people, because I understood basically what is the problem of people having that. They're just not healed. That's it. So I can heal them. I can heal basically the emotional wounds. I can heal basically, like the trauma, and all this stuff will improve the relationship. So I unplug the brand, unplug the emotion, and I just dive into it, study my niche, move forward.
Yeah, I love it. So got the niche nailed. Obviously working with in the relationship niche, and it seems to be a pretty hot topic at the moment, which is quite interesting. What was it like when you started getting your clients into that niche? Because you're charging a lot of money for it, definitely more than the majority of therapists and coaches. What's that like now to have a higher price, nailed the niche, and what was it like to get your first couple of clients?
It's so much pride, you feel like, wow, like you're doing something. It brings value to what you're doing. It brings value to yourself, and somehow also it brings value, of course, to your client. And you feel like, you're giving so much energy to your client, and you can see the result. So I think at the beginning, the first client, the most scary is like, am I going to be able to give the result that they're expecting? And I think that's the trigger that at the beginning is you have to fight against that, and just to trust the process. And also, I think something that is very important that I want to share is like, it's not only about the marketing, your program, but it taught me actually how to bring more result to the people.
Yeah.
And that I love it, because right now I'm not like focused. Maybe in the RTT, there's like this focus, or in one session, you're supposed to, to kind of heal a lot of things, which is, sorry, but impossible for me. It's something like with you, I learned how to work in the program, and I love it because now in a session, I can dive deep into like the wound of the people, but I'm not also putting too much pressure on me and on the client to be successful at the first session, because everybody's different. Everybody has a different story. So some people that they need more session, and what I like is like to have like this quality time with the client and bring more result to the people.
Yeah. And quality is important. I like the way you said that, because in the end of the day, your product, which is your service, that's all you have. And I think where a lot of people get caught is they do all the hype and all the flash, and they concentrate on the fancy marketing and all that, and they take time away from the quality of the product. And, you know, when the marketing dies down, that's all you're left with. So if we've got to spend more time with the client, but it produces a result that's better than the competition or what the client expects, man, you win every time. And that's essentially how you're dominating that niche, by having quality time and not rushing the process.
Yeah, exactly. Because, and I think like we're talking about healing, so it's so much important. It's about changing life of people, and I think we need to take some responsibility for it.
Yeah.
And to not be into this kind of, because marketing sometimes, like you say, it takes you away from the real work. Yeah. So I like the way you're doing that. It's like marketing is important, but go to the point, you know, go to the point to attract the client, and they don't need all this fancy stuff. I mean, if you have time to do it or an assistant to do it, that's fine. I feel, you know, it's still nice, but then behind, make sure that what you're doing into the program also bring result. And that's what I love, you know, with your program all the time. It's about bring result to the people, you know.
Product. Yeah. So out of curiosity, like with the clients that that are coming to see you and what you're finding out, what are the common things? Like, what are the common issues these people are having? Like, we talk about healing and relationship, but like, what's the core thing going on with these people?
It's all the same, you know. It's basically self-esteem, you know, lack of confidence, lack of feeling unworthy, you know, unworthiness. I feel it's the most thing. And basically when you have like all this problem, it creates a lot of different symptoms, and toxic relationship is one of them. It's very common, of course, because if you don't feel secure with yourself, how can you feel secure with your partner? So basically that's what I understood.
Okay. And what's the result? Like, what type of things are you seeing? Are they getting into new relationships, or are they just letting go of the baggage? Like, what's the result they're looking for getting?
So what is funny is like a lot of people actually, they come to work on relationship when they're not in relationship. And I like to say, actually, you know, actually, I think like when you're single, that's the best moment to work on your relationship. Because most of the people, they jump into a relationship without any healing, and they expect like the partner basically, you know, to heal them, which will never work. Forget about that. And so yes, most of the people, they went into a toxic relationship. So they come to see me because it happened 1 time, 2 times, 3 times maybe, and now they feel like, okay, something is really not good. I need to fix that. I need to heal that. So basically, it's teaching them. My thing is about conscious relationship. You know, it's to understand what happened in a relationship, what is your trigger, why your partner trigger, and how can you bring, you know, self-awareness on your relationship. That's how you're going to grow your relationship. So I love to do that. I'm very passionate about that, because I feel it's not about relationship, it's more about like self-awareness. That's what is funny. People come about relationship, and slowly they start to understand, wow, it's all about me, and feel good with myself, with my emotion. So yeah, basically that's what happened. And when they come and they are in a toxic relationship, to be honest, most of the time, they understand that they need to split and to go away from this relationship. And you know, there's like a lot of good people out there, but now that you change your vibration, or like your way of thinking or your emotion, you will see that basically you're gonna look for a different kind of relationship and partner.
Yeah. Are they more men or women coming in, or is it sort of a mix of both?
So it's funny, at the beginning, I mean, it's a lot of women, to be honest. But what is funny is like, I would say that the men that understand that take action to book the session and to invest. So now at the beginning it was mostly women, but I would say now in my clients, it start to be balanced, but it's still like a little bit more women, to be honest. But men, somehow they take action. The men that take this call with me, they're more likely to take action. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like the whole relationships, toxic relationships, narcissism, such a big topic right now, especially on like Instagram and stuff like that. It's like everywhere. Why do you think there's such a big focus on this now? Why do you think so many people are having problems with it? You think because of COVID and stuff like that?
I think it's people there's a shift. Like I feel it, you know, when I talk to people, everybody start to understand, maybe with COVID, it's like you don't have distraction in the outside world. So before, okay, you just go with your friend, you hang out in the pub, you go to the club. So there's distraction in your life. But now people need to sit, inside with themselves and start to realize, wow, something feels awkward inside me, or I need to stay with my partner and we have nothing to do. We can't go to a restaurant. How can we feel good together? So I think this is one part of the thing, but not only. And this narcissistic, thing, I think it's also easy for people to put the label, to say, oh, he's narcissistic. But somehow, to be honest, I use it for the marketing because I know this is how basically, people get attracted. But then they start to understand that you cannot put the blame all the time, on the people outside. So there's a lot of people like that. I think it's the modern society also who kind of develop this kind of concept that, very indie people, men, like very men energy. So it makes sense, but then still you have to understand why also you are attracted with that, so at the end it's still working on yourself.
I agree. Such a big thing. And I agree, like the whole putting a label on external circumstances is so much easier than like looking in on yourself and doing it for yourself. So I agree 100%. With the business the way it is now and what you've been through, like what's been the hardest thing for you, do you think, like doing with the business?
So you mean right now?
Yeah. So in the program, building the business, you're learning a lot about the niche. What's been the hardest thing for you, do you think?
It's to be consistent, because that's the key. That's really the key, and you teaching that. It was really nice in the program to have, I would say, your energy, to have somebody that is pushing you to say, be consistent, just fucking do it, because the mind at the beginning has so much doubt, it's all the time like, am I doing the right thing? And sometimes, again, you have to unplug the brain, unplug the emotion, and just taking action, and the result will come somehow. So the hardest part is that, to keep like this kind of energy every day, and to not be discouraged when sometimes, someday it doesn't work, or someday, like you have discovery call and doesn't work, and it's okay. You have to keep going and practicing.
Well, let's talk about Bali. Obviously, you just moved to Bali. How did all that come about? Where were you living before when you first launched the business?
So I was in France, in Paris.
Right.
When I started the business. I think it was a long time ago. It was a dream, even when I was like 20, 25, living in Bali. And now I feel like, wow, actually, I was looking for a business that I can basically move around the world. And I'm like, I think that's the time, and even it was COVID, somehow, I managed to move over there. And that's great because like my business is basically online. It's with people abroad. So people in US, people in UK, in France, Europe, Australia sometime also. So it wasn't difficult actually.
That's very cool. We were talking off camera before, and you're talking about having a virtual assistant now and hitting bottleneck with time. I remember quite a while back, we had been chatting back and forward and you said like, time's the biggest thing for me. Like, how can I get so much done each day? So sort of tell us what's happened now. Like you've got the virtual assistants and all that. Tell us about that.
Yeah, because at some point you start to get so much client, I would say, that you can't handle all that, and you can handle your client plus the marketing. I had a chat with you because I felt overwhelmed, so let's be honest, at some point of the program, you will feel overwhelmed because there's so many things to deal, but that's good. That's not a good
problem. It's a sign of growth.
Problem. Because you making your money, you feel good about your business, but then for sure you need to understand that when you reach like a limit, then I have to hire like a VA that can basically deal the stuff that I don't have time more to deal here.
And that's important. Like everyone will get to that point of the bottleneck of either time, or there's a consistency thing, or you come to a point and say, you know what, I'm sick of doing outreach, I'm sick of doing marketing, that's painful for me now, I'm going to hire somebody else to do that. But that's a good sign, like you said, because it's a sign of growth. If you're not getting overwhelmed, it means you're not doing enough stuff, and you need to hit that overwhelm threshold to go, okay, I'm making a lot of money now, getting a ton of clients, I've got time to now outsource this off to everybody else. So now I can revert my attention back to the only thing that matters, which is the product and having better quality time with the clients.
Yeah. And it's even weird, I would say, because as a therapist, I would never, think about hiring somebody. So now I feel also you become like a kind of CEO, like, managing your VA, telling them. And it feels also good because you're giving, basically job to people. And also this kind of thing, I think it's good to share. Like you feeling like you creating really like some kind of dynamic. You're creating like something, then you can share to people and give business to other people. So I like it.
Yeah. So moving forward with the business, like what are the goals?
Now I would say it's like to reach more people, to be able to impact more people. So unfortunately, I can be only me myself. I cannot like divide myself in multiple different therapists. So I'm thinking about creating, an online program, kind of online therapy. So of course, it's not the same thing than the one-on-one, but also some people, I understand that they can't afford my service, and I think that's the game. So I still want, to impact some people, to give results in a different way. So I'm thinking a little bit about how can I bring, like the best result, but with a different approach. So also it's very interesting, because it's completely different way of thinking. But I think it's part of the growth. Yeah.
Yeah. So looking back on everything you've done in the business, and like I said, I've only been in the program, it'll be less than a year now. What do you think the biggest thing you've learned about business, where you are now?
It's really about consistency, and I would say like the input that you putting. I think for me, it was good like to work with you because there's again so much fluff out there, that kind of selling you some kind of, are you doing this, that, and it will be magical. I would say like some kind of like magical recipe, and it's not magical. It's not secret. It's about like work.
Yeah.
Do take some action, and it's all about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
That's the biggest thing that I've learned, like about business. It doesn't exist, the thing that you see on Instagram, like, oh, I'm in the coffee, I'm taking a selfie, and when I see that now, I'm like, are you really doing a business? Because obviously, when what it requires, to deal a business, is like you have to be in front of your computer.
There's no time for coffee. There's no time for the speedboats. There's no time for that other stuff. Like you're literally sitting in front of your computer for like 12 hours a day. But look at where you are now. You've moved country. You've got two people working on the business. Like I said, you sort of almost the position of the CEO. You've got clients that are paying a high price, and that is only due to how much fucking work you put in over the last 9 or so months. And it's all paying off now. And that's the only way to get there.
I want to share, like, it was sometime like days of 10, 12 hours continuously at the beginning, sometime even the Sunday. Now I try to have, because I'm in Bali, I'm like, I still want to enjoy, so I'm like, okay, Sunday is my day off, and I will like go in the river, go in the waterfall. Yesterday I was in the waterfall, so still give me boost for the rest of the week. But the rest of the week is about like, okay, let's work now. Even if you're in a nice place, you need to be self-discipline is very important.
Yeah. And you can only do those things now because of the action you took months and months and months ago. Like I always say to you guys, the stuff you do today won't show up today. It'll show up a month from now, 2 months from now. And you get to a point where you can afford to do all those things. But I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this. You'd be one of those people that's always thinking about business. You're always thinking about what else you can do and optimizing. And I think when you get that brain, it's sort of like you're not working, but you sort of still are working, and you do get energized and the boost and get creativity. And that's all that long-term thinking as well. So that's important.
Yeah, completely. And it's even when in morning I do I was walking in Paris, I was just like a 10-minute walk, 15-minute walk before to work. I was like putting, some podcast in my ear to understand more about relationship, so it was all the time having like a notebook with me, taking notes when I have an idea. It's like, oh, what kind of post I can have. Now it's all the time like that. It's just, confused into my brain. And I like it because I remember the first post that I have to do when you were talking about, write like maybe 1, 2, 3 posts a day. I was like, my God, how am I going to do that? Because I have no clue about what to talk about, or but the more you studying your niche, now it becomes an evidence. You can write in 10 seconds and that's done.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think for the people that are starting, don't worry, you will get there. It's just practice, like everything.
Turn your brain off. Yeah, have a system, follow the system. And consistency is huge. Consistency in time is all we've really got in the business. The funny thing is, even if you're consistent with a bad strategy, it'll still pay off. It just might take a lot longer. But I think where everyone falls down is sort of they make 1 or 2 posts or they create a video, do that for a couple of days, doesn't make them $10,000 and they give up, or they go do something else, or they change the niche, or can't work like that.
Yeah, I mean, that was me before.
I know.
you try something for a few days and you don't see the result and you're like, oh, it doesn't work. I give up. Let's find a new strategy. And you give up because you don't have like, I think it makes me understand also how important is that to have a mentor, to have somebody basically that went through your pain, went through your struggle, and can be there still to tell you it's gonna work, but just don't give up. Don't give up. That's what we do basically with our clients. Now I'm healed and I can tell to the people because they are into so much pain, but you are here to give them like a hope, and I think that's the most important thing. But in business, like everything else is the same. We don't know nothing about business when we are therapists, let's be honest. So we need like to learn it.
Do you have any thoughts on like changing the niche, expanding the niche, any new things you're looking into, or are you sticking with this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sticking to that for sure, because now I feel that I nailed it somehow, so I feel so proud of that also, because it kind of bring me a lot of insight. The fact that you're studying your niche, you become so good at it. And working with the client all the time, you understand really the niche and the root cause of the niche, and that I like it. So I want to keep going with that. Build like the online program, for more people, for impacting more people. And then I'm thinking about, some kind of other niche. I'm thinking about teaching hypnotherapy, because like I was telling you, now more and more I have like coach asking me basically, how can I bring more result to people?
Beautiful.
And because of that, I feel you become so good at it that now you can also teach people how you can bring result to your clients. So that's another big thing that is coming soon, I hope.
That's awesome. So, I mean, really, that's all the question I have. That's awesome. Gives a great insight. And like I said, this is a niche that's going crazy at the moment. So it's good just to get someone else's like professional perspective on this. And I like the way you summarize that. So I guess for anybody watching this that's curious about working with you, or does need healing in their relationships and things like that, where I'll obviously leave your links below this video, guys, for anyone watching this. Where's the best place they can find you?
So like on Facebook, on Instagram, basically mostly on LinkedIn. But on LinkedIn, I changed a little bit my niche because I don't know, I felt like I'm more talking about burnout and toxic relationship, but at work, which is for me the same. Basically the same job, but that's where you can find me.
Perfect. So for anyone watching this, I highly recommend Siam's healing, what he's doing in therapy. Like, I really do mean that. So anyone watching this, I'll leave his links below. Please go book a strategy call in with him. He's a wealth of knowledge as well. But man, thanks so much. Go outside, have a rest, get out in that Bali sun if you can. Thank you for joining us, man. We'll see you in the Facebook group, and I really appreciate you sharing your story.
My pleasure. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, buddy. Cheers, Siam.
Bye. Cheers.